This self-help world isn't for you to feel better about having your problems. It's about you solving your fucking problems. It's not about understanding your problems either. People are like, I'm here to learn more about them. And then people understand everything and anything about it. Well, here's the problem. Here's what happened. Like they haven't solved them. So that's really the first wake up. It's also taking in the pain, right? We undervalue pain, the lessons that pain carries. Where you have to sit down and audit your life and be like, okay, usually there tends to be one event that catapults you into this world. One thing where you're like, enough! And you start taking some action. But then it's easy to get caught in this kind of cycle of, well, I'm watching videos, getting courses, one day, this day, that day, versus sitting down and be like, when is enough enough? That's why I was asking you, I was like, when is it going to change? Well, one day. Well, if one day is the answer, then you have not realized how in pain you are. You're still in denial. And that's what you have to sit down with yourself and be like, you know what? Am I not sick of this? When is enough enough? When am I finally going to prioritize my own well-being? That comes first. People even ask this sometimes with meditations. I'm like, well, do the meditation when you're triggered. And they're like, oh, well, sometimes I'm in the street and I'm triggered. I'm like, so sit on the sidewalk and do it. What if people stare at me? Well, in that case, your well-being doesn't come first, does it? You're saying the stares of NPCs come before my well-being. No? What if I'm in the middle of a conversation? Go to the bathroom. But what about the conversation? Well, that means the conversation is more important than your own well-being. This is also something ideally you come into as you grow older. You realize your time is finite. You stop being such a people pleaser, and you start prioritizing your own well-being to the point where, hey, if this isn't a win-win situation, I'm out. And you don't have to justify it, you're just out. And then this is also where you see how that kind of frustration and pain can lead you in two directions. One is in grief. It's this very disempowering level, like victimhood, where you're like, ah, poor me. This is key, by the way. It'll shoot you in grief or it'll shoot you in anger. One is moving down, one is moving up. Think of a classic video game where, say you're playing and you try to jump over this cliff and you take two players. And both of them, they keep failing the level where they fall in the cliff every time. And then they restart. They run, they jump, they fall. They run, they respawn, they jump, they fall, so on and so forth. One player, frustration is building. They get into the grief victim, the disempowering one, where they're like, why? They could even get mad, like, screw this game. Bullshit, what is this? And eventually they throw the controller and they walk away and that's it. Disempowering, give up. Terrible. The other person playing the same game, say failing the same amount, as opposed to every failure fueling grief, every failure empowers them. They're like, again. Come on, again, let's go. One more time, come on, again. Restart it, let's go. Fueled. That's how ideally, starting out, you should use that frustration. Not to feel sorry for yourself, that's the easy way out. Are you gonna be the person who throws away the controller or the person who uses everything that doesn't go your way as motivational fuel? One gets ahead, one fails. The more you tap into that enough, the closer you are to succeeding. But then, as I mentioned, the next pitfall will be letting go of anger as motivational fuel.